This week, we are going to fill in the conclusion section of our graphic organizer. So it's the last section that we will be doing on our graphic organizer. Remember, the conclusion is meant to wrap up the entire paper. So these are the questions that we will be focusing on for this section. As always, you do not need to answer all of the questions, especially if you can't answer them, and that's totally fine. But you do want to find as much information as you possibly can, because when we write, this will be a whole paragraph. So the questions are, if this person has died, when, where, and how did they die? If this person is still alive, what are they currently working on or doing? What are some famous quotes from this person? Why does this person continue to be important to others? Okay, so just like always, I left this open so that I can look at these questions, but I also have my 3 sources that are open here at the top. And kind of like with the introduction, I was better able to skim and scan at this point, which I've already read my sources, but yeah, I definitely just skimmed and scanned for this section because it's very specific information to wrap it up. So when I was ready, after I had skimmed and scanned my sources, I went ahead and split my screen so that I have my graphic organizer open, and you're filling in this last section down here for the conclusion. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what I got for this, and I answered all of the questions except for obviously the one about him being dead, because he's not. He's alive. So I answered the last 3 questions. So let me go ahead and move this over so we can get a better look. So what I said was Stephen and his wife split their time between Maine and their vacation home in Florida. He is still writing, and he's published many books in the last few years. And then I included one example, so including The Institute in 2019, which was his 61st novel. Now, he has also written some books with his sons, which is really cool, and I can include that later on if I want to, but remember, you don't want to make giant lists of things like that. So if there's a lot of information, try to pick and choose what you would like to put in there, what you think would be the most interesting to your readers. And then I said his work is still being made into movies and TV shows, like the new It movies, a remake of Pet Sematary, Dr. Sleep was a movie that came out recently, and then there was The Outsider, which was a show on HBO, and also Castle Rock on Hulu. And those were all within the last 5 years, so they're very, very recent. Because remember, you really want to focus on kind of the here and now, what this person is doing if they're still alive. For that section, if your person has already passed away, obviously you need to tell us how, when, and where that happened. Now, when I answered the last questions, I said he continues to be important because his stories not only scare us, but they also remind us of the good in the world and to be hopeful. And I got that from this quote, so I also included the quote. He said, "I believe all those sappy romantic things. Children are good. Good wins out over evil. It is better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. I see a lot of the so-called romantic ideal at work in the world around us." So that's one of the quotes that I found from him. And that's kind of what I included in why he's so important, because his stories are scary, yes. However, they also have a lot of hope and love within them, which is why he is still so important and so loved among readers and viewers of movies and TV shows alike, because he does believe in those things, and he has such an optimistic point of view, even in his darkest, scariest stories. So that is how I answered all of those questions. So remember, you are going to try to answer as many as you can and really wrap up the end of your paper with this conclusion.